Central Michigan has won 6 straight. Tennessee Tech comes in to try and break that streak today in Mount Pleasant. It's snowy outside. We're in McGurk Arena on ESPN3. Adam Jackson with my partner, Matt DeVries. Well, these Chippewas, Matt, went on the road. They lost in Ann Arbor to Michigan, but since then, they have been flawless.
Really have been. They're going for win 7 in a row today. That'd be their 7th win, and it's important because they went to Alaska, got 3 in a row in a preseason tournament. Now they could cap off a perfect 3-0 homestand with a win today.
Well, it's going to be tough to try and do it. A lot of experience on this Tennessee Tech team. We start with one of the grad transfers, a guard for the Golden Eagles. Kayvon Mack has played extremely well. One of their leading scorers, leads them in assists, and coach just loves him.
Started all 32 games last year, led the team in rebounds, assists, and steals. He's a do-it-all type guy, and Coach Payne says he's the heart of the team. He needs to have a big day today for Tennessee Tech.
He's a good guard for Tennessee Tech. On the other side, you've got Sean Roundtree, a transfer that's come in. We remember Marcus Keene. We remember Braylon Rayson last year. Those two are gone, but Roundtree has filled those shoes beautifully.
Yeah, he's averaging over 14 points per game, but how about 4.5 assists? He does a great job getting some scoring punch for the CMU team, but also does a great job sharing the basketball, getting his teammates involved. He's been a nice surprise for Keno Davis and his staff. He was also the MVP of that Great Alaska Shootout when the Chippewas went up there and got a big preseason tournament win. So Sean Roundtree important for the Chippewas' efforts this afternoon.
Tennessee Tech is 7-3, Central Michigan 7-1. 6 straight for the Chippewas. Golden Eagles will try and break that streak in McGurk Arena. When we come back, tip-off starting lineup next on ESPN3. We're ready for basketball on this Saturday afternoon between Tennessee Tech and Central Michigan. Matt DeVries, your keys for this afternoon's contest.
It starts with the visitors. The Golden Eagles need to win the rebounding battle. They rank 30th in America in rebounding at over 38 rebounds a game. The Chippewas, not as much size inside, got to win that battle. You got to limit turnovers, especially on the road. Got to take care of the basketball, make sure you're limiting your mistakes. On the other side, for the host Central Michigan, got to deny post entry. Tennessee Tech loves to go inside out on offense. You got to make sure you're trying to deny those entries, at least make them more difficult. And you got to get to the free throw line. You're second in the NCAA in free throw percentage at over 81% from the line.
Chippewas have been to that free throw line a lot this season. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup for Tennessee Tech. First, Shaq Calhoun just added as a starter. Curtis Phillips had started every game, the first 10 for Tennessee Tech. He's not in the lineup today to start, so the graduate student Shaq Calhoun, the guard, will start in place of him for Tennessee Tech. For Central Michigan, they go the same that they've had through the first 8 games. Sean Roundtree, we mentioned in the open. 4 scorers averaging double figures for this Chippewa team.
Absolutely. They are a much different team than they were a season ago. Not just a two-headed monster. Plenty of ways to attack for the Chippewas.
Dan Dorian, Todd Williams, and Jerry Scherzinger, our officials. We're underway. It's the tap back to Sean Roundtree. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon in McGurk Arena. Working it to Williams, out to DeLeo for 3, and a good start for CMU.
He brought a lot of energy in that win against Montana State earlier this week, and David DeLeo, more of a consistent contributor this year than he was a season ago. Not much was asked of him last year, provided some nice secondary scoring, but now he's a really big weapon for this Chippewa team.
DeLeo averaged 8 points this season ago. He has 12 to begin 2017. Inside, Ramsey struggling between 3 defenders, and he walks. Early turnover, something that, Matt, you mentioned is a key, and a key for the head coach. Here he is, Steve Payne, in his 7th season for Tennessee Tech, closing in on 100 victories.
That would be the 6th coach in school history to do that, and Coach Payne's got a great story. We'll get into it throughout the broadcast today.
DeLeo working against Alexander, turns and leaves it short. Alexander, an athletic big that they like to keep him on the perimeter. He can run the show. A creator is what Coach Steve Payne calls him. This is the 3-point specialist. Nice take to the window, though. It's too strong from Jugovic. Calhoun steps in for 2 and knocks it down. This Chippewa team playing so well. 6 straight wins. It's really been their defense that has carried them. As that ball gets over to the corner to DeLeo, something we didn't see last season. But the offense, as Cecil Williams loses it out of bounds, it'll stay with Central Michigan. Surprising how well that has got off to a good start. As here's the head coach, Keno Davis, in his 6th season for the Chippewas. Won a Mid-American Conference regular season title a few seasons ago. Had his team in the championship game of the MAC tournament as well. Trying to get this Chippewa program back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since the early 2000s. Here's our first whistle of the game. It'll go against Shaq Calhoun, a holding call. We'll stay with CMU, but you talk about the scoring last year, Matt, that the Chippewas had. The 2 guards in Rayson and Keene that averaged nearly 50 points per game. Well, they leave, and the Central Michigan team is still averaging right around 78 points per game.
I think Sean Roundtree is a big reason why. You have that point guard leading your team. You have Gavin Peppers, who can come in off the bench and provide some good leadership at the point guard position as well. And so when you have that type of capability and you have that different type of player playing that position in this offense, it totally changes the complexion and what you're able to do. And Roundtree, a much better distributor of the basketball, and he's also taking smarter shots. He's not a high volume shooter.
Just checking on the shot clock. The officials have it sorted out. It's at 20 for CMU, what it resets to after fouls this season. Sean Roundtree sets it up, closing in on 10 seconds to go on this opportunity for CMU. Around his screen, has it partially deflected by Jugovic. Good defense by Tennessee Tech, and the Golden Eagles try to take their first lead. Ramsey over Meyer has it spin off. Pulled down by Williams. Quick release that is short from Kaczynski.
He's got that taped hand on his shooting release hand, and I just wonder, he's been playing with that through the first month of the season. Now, I just wonder how much that's hampering his shooting ability. Hopefully not, because he's normally a knockdown, lights-out shooter.
Williams taps it out of bounds. You mentioned Kaczynski had 6 points in the last game. Chippewas with an impressive 75-48 win against Montana State. We talk about that defense, now top 10 in the country. Chippewas allowing just 60 points per game, but that 48 points they gave up was the lowest total they had allowed since 2014 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. We didn't see those numbers last year defensively.
No, he did not.
Kajon Mack, we spotlighted in the open, gives Tennessee Tech their first lead, their first triple as well. Trying to get it inside to Williams. Double team, no look. McKay flying in and scores.
Good no call by our officials there. A little contact from Ramsey as he went up, but I really like the defensive effort from him, but I really like the strong take from Kevin McKay too.
Good look from Cecil Williams between 3 defenders. 5-5 early as we close in on 4 minutes into this Saturday afternoon game. Calhoun getting the start. Wiggles through, bumped by Williams. Ramsey an offensive rebound, back up for 2.
Good job by Mason Ramsey, just 20 miles north of Cookeville down there at Tennessee Tech from Livingston, Tennessee. A really nice rebound there, second chance points for him.
One of the seniors on this Tennessee Tech team. Roundtree has it swatted away by Calhoun. But we do get the whistle, and it looks like Roundtree will head to the basket. Does such a good job of utilizing his body to create space. And you'll see it once again here on this replay.
I don't think they get a foul. Just a nice block attempt right there and side out underneath the bucket.
Indeed, it'll stay with CMU. 10 on the shot clock. Roundtree looking inside, nowhere to go. Kaczynski launches from deep. Ramsey pulls down the miss.
Good set for Tech. They went to some 2-3 zone there and forced Josh Kaczynski with a long three-point attempt. What a take!
Jugovic sliding inside off the glass.
14 points per for Jugovic. He's a consistent contributor for this team.
Finding ways to score outside of shooting the long ball, which is what he does best. Williams slippery scores, and he's fouled.
Strong take by Cecil Williams there, going through that contact.
An early start, Tennessee Tech on the road, 9-7. Here's a nice dish, though, and McKay getting the 2. It's the second all-time meeting between Tennessee Tech and Central Michigan. This was the first meeting just a season ago. It was down in Cookeville, Tennessee. Central Michigan coming out with an 86-74 win. We talk a lot about Marcus Keene. He was the leading scorer for the Chippewas with 30, but Jugovic back on this year's squad had 25, and David DeLeo, kind of a coming out party for him, his first career double-double, 17 points, 11 rebounds. He averaged just 8 last year, but playing more to those numbers this year, and that was an impressive win for CMU, where Tennessee Tech, they play very well at home.
They do, and Tennessee Tech off to a good start this year as well, sitting at 7-3, and the Chippewas looking to make it 7 wins in a row this afternoon.
Williams completes the three-point play. 9-8, good early start for Tech on the road in Mount Pleasant. A lot of travel for them. They bust up to Dayton on Tuesday, about halfway from Mount Pleasant to Cookeville, Tennessee, and then they bust up to Mount Pleasant 2 days ago. Inside, Alexander has it knocked away. Shot clock doesn't reset, 10 to go. This is Micaiah Henry who steps out and knocks down a long jumper.
Really nice look, just to turn and face up at the elbow and got a little separation. Don't be afraid to take that shot. Nice knockdown.
Kevin McKay checks in along with Gavin Peppers after that break. Golden Eagles trying to add to their three-point lead. Throwing it up top, and a nice lay-in off the window from Courtney Alexander.
He's their top rebounder, but a nice inside presence as well, averaging 8.5 and almost 10 rebounds per. Really nice, calm, cool, collected finish right there.
The 6'7" junior out of Mableton, Georgia, is giving Tennessee Tech their largest lead. Williams attacking, and a foul will be called. That'll send Cecil Williams to the free throw line. They're going to get Shaq Calhoun. That's his second.
He's looking at the officials saying, I got a lot of ball there. And as we look at the replay, it looks like he might have a decent argument there. And you just got to know when you pick up an early foul in any game, you got to make sure that you're playing under control defensively. And there's plenty of basketball left to be played. Maybe you don't need to go in as aggressive on a block attempt like that.
Williams now with 4 points. This Chippewa team coming in second best in the country, 82% from the free throw line. They shoot it well. They get there a lot, and then when they get there, the Chippewas take advantage and knock down the freebies. Second one rolls off. Curtis Phillips Jr. has checked in for Tennessee Tech, the normal starter off the bench today. Trying to move it around this zone. Jugovic with 7, and a hand check called on Gavin Peppers. Be interesting to see how Tennessee Tech plays in this zone. They played 40 minutes against the zone against Dayton on Tuesday, and that was something that Coach Steve Payne said afterward. His team just really struggled throughout the entire game to figure that out. So you'd expect to see some zone today from CMU, obviously, with the way that Tennessee Tech struggled on Tuesday.
And this is a team that can put up points in bunches. They won against New Mexico earlier this year on November 21st, putting up 104 points. So they can definitely score the basketball.
Jugovic right on cue, scoring the basketball from the outside. 5 points for the senior from Serbia. 7-point lead for Tennessee Tech. Gavin Peppers tries to answer. Offensive rebound. Roundtree wide open. Got it.
In rhythm, nice knockdown shot. Offensive rebound from David DeLeo. And great vision and awareness for him to find his teammate at the top of the key.
First 3 for the Chippewas. They're 1 of 4 from the outside. Golden Eagles have looked very comfortable offensively, though. Alexander blows by DeLeo and scores.
Outstanding take, just recognizing a mismatch, flat-footed from David DeLeo. What a drive.
4 early points for the junior, Courtney Alexander. Roundtree trying to get to the bucket, gets the step on Mack, but it comes off to Phillips. Up and down we go. Phillips attacks DeLeo, runs into him, and we've got to travel first. A little bit out of control from Curtis Phillips.
Gotta like the start from Tech on the road. You've got 6 guys on the score sheet already and a 6-point lead, and they're looking very fluid on the offensive end, don't look uncomfortable at all. That's what we saw from Montana State earlier this week in this building against this Chippewa defense. Just never got into a rhythm for all 40 minutes.
Tennessee Tech shooting just over 65% to start this game, and they're perfect 2 for 2 from the outside. There's the first turnover on Central Michigan. David DeLeo left his feet. And right now, a great start by Tennessee Tech, coming into a building that Central Michigan, they haven't lost at home this season. 4-0 and obviously 6 straight. We've told you about that, but Tennessee Tech doesn't look like they're shook coming in.
Ever since Keno Davis got here, they've played really well at McGurk Arena, and they've just done a nice job of holding serve at home, but Tech continuing to pour it on.
Impressive from K-John Mack over the top of Luke Meyer. 8-point lead early for the Golden Eagles. Peppers trying to get to the bucket. Adams stays in front, but Meyer cuts in.
Luke Meyer, the thing that's going to be the biggest challenge for him this year is just staying out of foul trouble. He needs to be on the floor for Coach Keno Davis because he's really the only big inside presence this team has.
Mack with the first miss outside. Alexander cleans up the miss. Courtney Alexander at the free throw line when we come back. Tennessee Tech getting good outside shooting early from Jugovic. Visitors in front by 6. 20-14, Tennessee Tech in front, 11:43 to play in Mount Pleasant. Great start for the visitors on ESPN3. Courtney Alexander about to head to the free throw line. He has 4 early points, and we're about to see some underhand free throw shooting. He's had quite the story. Started shooting left-handed, switched to right in his prep school for high school, and now in his freshman season, he switched back to left-handed. He's in his junior year. Free throws were down, and now he's shooting 60% with the underhand. And obviously, you see Courtney Alexander Sr., he's got good blood with him being drafted in 2000. Let's take a look, though. Here we go.
This will be fun.
Spins it up there.
You don't see that every day, so it's fun to see it. And hey, if it's mentally what you need to do to be more comfortable at the free throw line, or if you just can't get it down physically, whatever you need to do, just make sure you're comfortable at the free throw line.
He goes 0 for 2. We'll see if he can get back to the line. That's a lot of fun to watch.
It is, yeah.
I'm not sure how it's easier to put the right spin on it, but if it works, as you said, Matt, that's what you got to do.
I think that might be the first time in a live game I've ever seen it in person. I've seen it, of course, on SportsCenter and television, but never live.
Ditto for me. Never seen it before. McKay comes up with the rebound. Back and forth, 20-14. Tennessee Tech is led by as many as 8. Coming up on the midway point of this first half in Mount Pleasant. Golden Eagles trying to snap a 2-game skid. They've lost at Furman and at Dayton on Tuesday. This is the end of their 3-game road swing. Quick release, Kaczynski gets it over the rim.
Just impressive from Sean Roundtree, kind of seeing that set break down, and they were kind of going to get snagged as the shot clock was winding down. And Roundtree just used a quick touch pass to find Kaczynski in the corner.
248 career threes for Josh Kaczynski, which is second at CMU. How about Cecil Williams skying for that rebound, creates contact. Courtney Alexander picks up his first. That's the 5th already on Tennessee Tech. Central Michigan with just 2 team fouls. It's a very high-pressure defensive team from Tennessee Tech. That's what they pride themselves in with 7th-year head coach Steve Payne. Pressure defense. They have to do something because they're a little bit undersized when they play most teams.
When you mentioned the foul situation there, CMU in the top 20 in America and fewest fouls per game. They don't foul very often, and that's a credit to them because they're ranked in the top 10 in scoring defense in America as well.
Great pass to McKay. Roundtree whipped it in, and it's a 1-point game.
Little run from Central Michigan after Tennessee Tech got out to an early lead, I should say, and good response from the Chips.
McKay led this team with 17 points on Tuesday against Montana State. Ramsey getting around DeLeo, taps it out to Mack. He'll attack. A little bit too strong, and McKay rips down the board. Chippewas trying to reclaim the lead. Williams over to Kaczynski. 22-20 CMU.
Knocking down shots. Coach Steve Payne on the sideline talking to our officials saying Stephon Adams should have drawn a charge there. Wanted the call, didn't get it. No call with Cecil Williams underneath, and a great dish to Kaczynski outside.
Jugovic bounces to Ramsey, spins off but tapped back out. Smart play by Mason Ramsey. He fights hard inside. Creates a three. Offensive rebound by Mack. And it'll be a foul whistled, but that's what you're talking about with Kanejohn Mack, the graduate student. We talked about Steve Payne loving his effort and him being the heart of this team, one of the captains on this squad, and that's a prime example. Misses the shot, goes right after it, finds where the rebound, and creates another chance for his squad.
And if you're Central Michigan, there's no reason Mack should be in that type of position. That was on David DeLeo and Cecil Williams. Neither guy grabbed a body on the shooter for the offensive rebound. Didn't box out, and a lucky break there for the turnover, but still, you got to make sure the fundamentals are taken care of on the defensive end. They're trying to keep this really hot start at that end of the floor going this year.
9 minutes to play first half, back and forth. The lead as large as 8 points for Tennessee Tech. Central Michigan has taken it back, though, in front by 2. DeLeo, he hits the long 2. Largest lead for Central Michigan as they're starting to hit up, shooting over 50%, but it's answered by Curtis Phillips, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee.
It's a good find by Adams, just hitting the trailer on the fast break. More of a jog break, I guess, but still a great trail and way to knock it down in transition.
First 3 points. Sean Roundtree answers.
That's kind of what we are used to seeing from Central Michigan as far as last year is concerned. They were just launching three-point attempts with plenty of time left on the shot clock. Luckily for Sean Roundtree, that one went down. Otherwise, Coach Keno Davis would not have been happy.
Already 5 makes from outside the arc for CMU after the Jugovic miss. Chippewas looking potentially for another. 62% from behind the arc, 55% from the field for Central Michigan as they've taken a 4-point lead. Luke Meyer will step out. Adams quickly the other way. Nice find. Jugovic cutting in. He can't hit it.
Great play all around. All that was missing was the finish. Wow.
Williams trying to create, and he turns it over. Throws it right to Curtis Phillips. Phillips backs it out, then he attacks and throws it off the window. Good patience by Curtis Phillips.
Looked like he was getting into some trouble, and I was about to say, slow it down, sir. Just try and get into your half-court offense, but keeping his level head in transition and just finding a crease in that CMU defense.
Last 5 to the senior, Curtis Phillips. 2-point game. Roundtree with the quickness, and we've got a foul. Sean Roundtree will head to the line when we come back. Chippewas starting to heat up from the outside. They've knocked down 5 and lead by 2. A terrific game this afternoon, 49-48, Central Michigan and Tennessee Tech. And we come back looking at the 4 scorers that have averaged double figures. It was pretty much 2 guys last year. And you look at this, Roundtree, Williams, DeLeo, Meyer, all averaging over 10 points per game. And then you've got Kevin McKay, Gavin Peppers that are right around the 10-point plateau. So a lot of different players getting touches on the basketball. And that's why I think the team chemistry is so good to begin this season, because everyone's getting an opportunity.
And when you get guys that are having as many touches as these guys are, 6 guys averaging over 8 points per game, that's only going to pay dividends for you come conference play. When you get into Mid-American Conference play, there's going to be so many different angles you can go at teams in their defensive set. So I think Central Michigan setting up to have a really solid start to conference play once the calendar turns to 2018.
Tennessee Tech back in front. Central Michigan trying to reclaim the lead as we come up towards the 5-minute mark into this second half. Peppers, tough shot, and it crawls over the rim.
And seeing Gavin Peppers and Sean Roundtree, both point guards, on the floor together.
Lead back to Central Michigan. Meyer has it spring free. Mack tries to shovel it underneath. Alexander has it blocked by McKay. 3-on-2 for Roundtree if he hurries. He'll pull up for three. McKay with the offensive rebound. Smart play to just set it up and run the offense in a tight one.
And that's sometimes what you can get. You can get lucky if you take an early shot in a possession. Not everyone's going to be in position to hit the glass. And another second chance, third chance opportunity for Central Michigan on this trip.
Terrific work by the senior Luke Meyer. Kept his balance and got the ball out of his hands before he traveled. Peppers trying to go back-to-back. Shovels to McKay, who's open.
I think we're seeing it more and more as this second half gets started. Just communication not paramount right now for either team on the defensive end, and you're seeing a lot of open looks at the bucket for both teams.
Kevin McKay has been on the opposite end of a couple of really nice passes from his Chippewa teammates this afternoon. Another miss up ahead. Meyer catches, spins, off the rim. Great look up ahead, but Meyer couldn't hit it. Between three defenders, Phillips has it blocked. Roundtree wants to go quick the other way. Crosses over in the lane. And McKay has it taken away by Ramsey.
Back and forth.
Alexander will try. No one can hit right now. A lid on both baskets. The tempo has certainly picked up in the last couple of minutes. And there's a foul by McKay to slow us down. Kevin McKay picking up his second. 13:42 to play. David DeLeo checks back in. Cecil Williams to the bench for CMU.
I've got that like circus song in my head, just just going back and forth, and can't knock down a shot, but certainly setting up to be a fun second half. We've already seen it through the first 6 minutes. Both teams free flowing with the ball in their possession and getting fun looks, good drives to the bucket. Both teams playing hard.
We're not going to complain with this up-tempo, hectic pace.
Oh,
Meyer swats it out to McKay. Look at Luke Meyer run the floor too for Central Michigan. McKay will go right at Alexander, fumbles the ball away, and it'll go back to Tennessee Tech. Good defense. We talked about all the scoring in the first half, but again, Central Michigan, top 10 defensively early on in this 2017 season, allowing just 60 points per game. Tennessee Tech, Matt, tops in the country, plucking 84 steals away coming in. I mean, both teams can score, but they can play some sound defense as well.
Absolutely. If you look at the KenPom adjusted ratings, those kind of give you an idea in a weighted defensive stat who CMU is playing, and they're a little bit lower in those rankings as far as just on the face of scoring defense. So maybe CMU benefiting a little bit from some of their opponents, but still, they're only defending who's on the court against them, and they've done a really nice job of locking down teams on the regular.
Jugovic has been pretty quiet, no points in this second half, and that changes quickly. Alexa Jugovic with 7. One of the leaders. He's been in double figures in every game outside of their last one at Dayton, where he finished with 9. They need the senior from Serbia to get going. Serbian Sugar is what they call him.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
He owns it too. That's his Twitter handle as well.
That's awesome.
Under 10 on the shot clock for Peppers.
Oh,
great move. And he gets it to go. The spin from Gavin Peppers.
A little shake and bake from 0. Gets some separation and then some contact at the finish. Strong from Gavin Peppers.
And now he will head to the free throw line. Peppers with 7. Gavin Peppers, the transfer from Cleveland State. Never actually played at Cleveland State. Had an injury and then a coaching change. He decided he wanted to move on. Played at a couple of JUCO schools as well before finding his home in Mount Pleasant. Gavin Peppers, we've talked about the graduates pursuing their master's degree at Tennessee Tech. Gavin Peppers in his first year of a master's here at Central Michigan.
As a guard, how can you not like playing in Keno Davis's system? Just a lot of freedom to do what you want on the offensive end. Love to shoot the outside shot. Seems like a Match made in heaven.
Inside, tough shot that somehow goes. Athletic move from Curtis Phillips. 55-53. We have had an outstanding game. Coming up on the midway point of this second half. McKay, that's a charge. Easy call going against Kevin McKay. And that's the third on the sophomore. 2-point game in Mount Pleasant. Don't go anywhere. Gavin Peppers, terrific work. And McKay on the other end. Well, it's officially basketball season now, but we still have one more game for Central Michigan's football team after losing 3 straight in September at Syracuse, Miami, and Boston College. Matt, how about the way John Bonamigo's team turned it around? I think you look, it started with Ball State, but really the confidence came with the Cannon Trophy coming back to CMU at Western Michigan. A comeback victory, and they have been rolling ever since.
Well, look at those offensive numbers. 56, 35, 42, 42, 31. CMU flying high right now on the football field.
989-774, the start of that number, and I don't know it by heart. The graphic left the screen.
CMUchippewas.com, right?
That's where you need to go. Get your bowl tickets and get out to Idaho. There's a couple potatoes out there. Phillips spinning, and DeLeo scoops up the miss, but a hard fall. Looks like Cecil Williams had his head hit the floor, and he is the player down right now that'll get checked on. He's slowly going to get to his feet, hopefully, but you forget how hard the surface is. When you fall, you don't really have any protection. Hopefully he's all right. The senior transfer in his second season in Mount Pleasant. Came over last year after playing at Moberly Area Community College.
Good to see him walking off the court. 6'6" senior for Keno Davis in Central Michigan.
7 points today for Cecil Williams. Here it is one more time. Did he get knocked in the face, it looks like?
An elbow to the chin, I think.
So it wasn't the fall. We initially thought it was how he landed. A lot of traffic down there, couldn't really see it, but clearly there, yeah, he got an elbow in the face.
No, our official's going to be talking about if it's going to be a flagrant foul and then to a greater extent a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. Hopefully they'll get a chance to come over and chat with us and let us know what they're going to go with. Dan Dorian's been communicating with us throughout the game today, so we'll see if we can get an explanation from him once they figure everything out.
Officials have been very good today. Dan Dorian, Todd Williams, Jerry Scherzinger, the crew today. All 3 Midwest guys from Indiana and Illinois. Officials certainly have not played an impact in the game, which is exactly what you want. But yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Matt? Any kind of flagrant foul on that? I know we got a quick look at it.
I don't think so. You know, I think if anything, they might go flagrant 1. I don't think it's anything malicious. It's not a flagrant 2. They're not going to go with an ejection of any kind, I don't think. In my opinion, I think it would just go with a common foul and just kind of move on. But, you know, anytime you get an elbow up into the neck or head area, I mean, you see Cecil Williams, he's going to make his way back to the bench area soon, so hopefully he's going to be all right with the Gatorade bottle. But, you know, the officials are all about player safety, and that's what there's a point of emphasis right now on concussions across all sports, making sure player safety is number 1 and making sure that everyone's on a level playing field and playing fair, so then you don't start letting things get out of hand when that starts to become an accepted type of movement.
You know, it looks like Cecil Williams is okay. Certainly that'll wake you up. You get knocked in the face like that. And we'll see. The officials, again, still trying to decide, as you see, what the call is. They haven't talked to either coach yet. Just had an opportunity to look at that replay. Now they'll go over to both coaches, and we'll get word from one of the officials on what the call is. 11:32 to play. 2-point game. Central Michigan leading 55-53. A back-and-forth game. And, Matt, you just had an opportunity to talk to one of our officials here. What do you have?
No flagrant foul, just a basketball play, so we're going to go ahead and get restarted.
I think that's the right call. I think it didn't look like it was intentional. Normally it isn't. Well, CMU will get it. Seen this full court press from Tennessee Tech in this second half, trying to wear down Central Michigan a little bit. It's been close throughout. Neither team has led by more than 8 points. Roundtree working against Curtis Phillips, trying to find some space. He has 11, does Roundtree. McKay. 7 on the shot clock. Someone going to have to hoist. McKay trying to break down and shake free, and he gets a tough shot over the top of Micaiah Henry.
Well, and what were we talking about through this whole first part of the second half? We've just had great fluidity and feel to this second half, and now there's just been a long stoppage. Now the guys have to flip the switch and get right back into the zone.
2 close misses from Henry and Phillips. The ball somehow came out on both attempts. 4-point lead for Central Michigan. Leads have not been larger than 5 or more in this second half. It's been tight throughout. Roundtree against the bigger Henry. We'll see if he takes him on. He does, to the basket and draws a foul. That's a good take there from Roundtree. A little bit quicker, certainly, than Henry, who's standing at 6'9" against the 6-foot guard.
Roundtree just being aggressive, recognizes the mismatch, so give him a lot of credit for knowing he's going to have a quickness advantage and be able to beat Henry to the bucket. And Henry moved his feet, tried to get into position, but not able to do so.
And you see the numbers there for Central Michigan at the free throw line this season, 2nd best in the country behind Oregon. Sean Roundtree, he's been the best for Central Michigan, shooting 86%.
The Chippewas last year finished 2nd in the NCAA in free throw percentage at 79.1%. Continuing that effort, and what a weapon the free throw line can be for your team if you're able to knock down the free ones. They're just giving you points. You might as well take them.
Sean Roundtree has helped Central Michigan equal their largest lead of 6. 59-53, midway point of the second half. Tough take by Adams, certainly hindered by Luke Myers, 6'11", standing underneath. Williams flying in, splitting defenders and scoring.
He's a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. What he can do driving to the bucket, some guys can't do just physically. And Cecil Williams putting it on display right there. Fantastic take.
Dangerous point right here for Tennessee Tech. Largest lead for Central Michigan, trying to get our first double-digit lead of the game from either team.
And you've got 3 shooters on the floor in DeLeo, Roundtree, and Josh Kaczynski. Even Luke Meyer can knock down the outside shot. Cecil Williams, for that matter. That's why they're not in the 2-3 zone.
Roundtree forces a shot. Jugovic coming the other way. Good transition defense by CMU to get back after the long miss. Adams attacking. Roundtree takes it, but it'll be a blocking call. We'll get another look at it, see if Roundtree was potentially in that semicircle.
Ron Adams, little pump fake, gets the mismatch on Luke Meyer right there, drives by, and that's a tough one right there. Sean Roundtree gets into position outside the half circle. Maybe our officials see him moving a little bit, or if Roundtree's getting set while Adams is in the air, there's nowhere for Adams to go. Maybe you call a block in that instance.
Yeah, it had to be that he was moving a little bit. Currently a Central Michigan run of 9-2. They've jumped out to their largest lead of 8. Stephon Adams, the junior from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, Motlow State Community College transfer. And he hits 1 of 2, his first point of the night. Continuing the struggles at the line for Tennessee Tech, only hitting 1 of 2 there. They're 5 for 11. Haven't been there a lot, but you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Be a much closer game if they were shooting a little bit better from 15 feet away. 9 minutes to play, 6-point, check that, 7-point lead for CMU. And there's a steal taken away by Stephon Adams. Spins out of trouble. Maybe it's Jugovic that can get going here. Good drive with the right hand, and he does. Glass it off the window.
Using that right hand high off the glass.
Finding other ways to score. One of the top 3-point shooters ever in program history. He only has 1 3 today, but sits at 9 points. Jugovic playing well. Kaczynski for 3. Williams with the offensive rebound, fumbled out of his hands, but a foul is called. And And that's another second chance opportunity for CMU. Matt, it's their 7th offensive rebound.
Central Michigan has battled back from the break to take the rebounding advantage back from Tennessee Tech, 30-29, but Chippewa is now in double digits with 10 turnovers. Got to try and clean that up over the last 8-13.
Williams banging against Mack, and that's an offensive foul. You could see it coming. Williams using that offhand to try and find some space. Here it is one more time.
I think that's an easy call. If you got a guy trying to take a charge and you see an offensive player like Cecil Williams using some force with his shoulder, more times than not, you're going to see our officials go that way.
Ramsey working against a double team, has to dribble out of it. Good ball movement, Adams for 3. Would have been a big shot. Offensive rebound falls in the hands of Ramsey.
Great job by Alexander underneath, keeping that play alive, and the ball falls to Ramsey. Second chance points, and here comes Tennessee Tech.
3-point lead for Central Michigan. It's tight. 7:32 to play, 61-58 Chippewas. A good one coming up in Mount Pleasant. We'll have the finish next. Well, that is the hardest working production crew in the MAC. There's our director, Dan Brody's waving. Anybody else want to put their hands in the air?
Dan.
Brevin Beal, he needs to shave that beard. What do you think?
No. Beard's a good look.
We got Hannah Vogel in there.
Yeah.
Justin Stewart on graphics, Jake Piper on highlights. Terrific crew. Matt, they've been around all year long, and really since we started ESPN3 3 seasons ago, it's been the students here at Central Michigan that have really provided these outstanding broadcasts.
Invaluable experience for them. There we go. From the rafters. Can't forget about Riley Edwards and our camera crew out here as well. Riley, our spotter here courtside, and great camera folks as well, getting those shots of the huddles and the games and everything. So it's just a great experience for these students. They can put that on their resume, and there's the guy leading it all for Central Michigan.
Michael Alford in his first season as athletic director, taking over for Dave Hickey, and he comes into a well-oiled machine in terms of broadcasting program. The BCA department here at Central Michigan has provided some outstanding students that have gone on to do terrific things, and certainly excited to have the students here to help you and myself out. 7:32 to play.
That is a Christmas sweater for the ages. That is nice.
Hey, if you're looking to get me a Christmas present, I'll take one of those.
You will? Okay, I'll look into it. I was thinking we got some games over Christmas that you're not going to be around for. I might wear like a Santa suit one night. Maybe
you got to do something.
Be a little festive, you know?
You dye that beard of yours white.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. You got the ho-ho-ho down.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. I'll consider it.
Williams loses the basketball and a bailout foul. It was running the other way with Calhoun. Instead, the Chippewas will maintain it. 7:16 to play. Still, Chippewas by 3. We take a look at the upcoming schedule for Tennessee Tech. Both teams will have a nice break here, a week off as finals are next week for Tennessee Tech and Central Michigan. Then the Golden Eagles take on Chattanooga, a tough one at Indiana Assembly Hall. They just played Dayton, Archie Miller's former team. Now they'll go take on his new team at Indiana, and then it's time to get into conference play in the Ohio Valley. For Central Michigan, they'll head out on a western trip to southern Utah, UMKC. Couple more against SIUE and Lawrence Tech here before they get into the gauntlet of the conference schedule. They open with the Ohio Bobcats here inside McGurk Arena. We'll have those broadcast for you on ESPN3.
And according to the media, not a lot expected of Central Michigan in Mid-American Conference play this year, but they're certainly showing in the preseason and in the non-conference that they're looking like they're going to try and prove everybody wrong and not be that last place finish.
Williams with that bucket stops a Tennessee Tech 5-0 run back to a 5-point game. Here's a turnover as Williams has it end up in his hands. Under 7 minutes to go.
And how about the Mid-American Conference earlier this week? Ball State going on the road to take down Mike Bray and Notre Dame. Great win for that program.
Big shot by Persons at the buzzer. from Indiana, and Joel Gaudette with a terrific call on the Ball State Radio Network. Huge win for the conference. Roundtree with 5 on the clock. Out to Meyer. Offensive rebound by the small 6-foot guard, Sean Roundtree. Doesn't belong in there getting that rebound, but the grit right there by Roundtree coming up with it.
If you're the Chippewas, you got to start making Tech pay. You got to take advantage of these second chance opportunities, get some other points up on the board, because Tech's shown that throughout this game that they can continually come back, and that they're not going to be afraid down a couple points here late.
Tapped out of bounds, last touch by Shaq Calhoun. Central Michigan's largest lead came at the 10-minute mark of this second half. It was 8. Tennessee Tech's largest lead came in the first half. It was also 8. You can see how close this game has been. Roundtree with 3 on the clock, stumbling, loses the basketball, picked up by Ramsey. Up ahead, it's Alexander, flying in against Peppers, and DeLeo threw the ball off of him. Smart play by the sophomore. Courtney Alexander was standing out of bounds. DeLeo was heading towards out of bounds and just threw it off the senior. Take a look.
Just rolls it off of Alexander. Courtney Alexander was looking for a foul as he was driving to the bucket right there. Gavin Peppers, a lot of ball right there. You can see why our officials didn't go the foul there. Great look from our crew underneath.
Some dodgeball here on Saturday. Smart play, though, by the sophomore. Another possession for CMU. Coming up on the 5-minute mark of the second half. Roundtree's picked up his dribble. He'll get it back, though. 10 on the shot clock. The transfer guard trying to come up with something. He'll go right around Ramsey, and the reverse lay-in, lefty goes.
The offhand from Roundtree that makes him so dangerous. Game high 15.
8 of his first 9 games in a Chippewa uniform have been double-figure scoring games.
Wow.
Ramsey with the left hand, and he's headed to the line.
Averaging 10 points per game. That's point 10 and 11 for Mason Ramsey, and been in this program a long time. His 5th year. He says he feels like it's been 10 years. You can't waste a minute playing for Tennessee Tech. He's loving his time with the Golden Eagles, even though it's coming to an end this year.
He's another guy that's pursuing his master's in business administration. Now 6 games in double figures this year for Ramsey. 11 points. Can't get 12. Undersized, big, 6'6", but he holds his own.
Tech 5 of 12 from the free throw line. Central Michigan 14 of 16. Could argue that's the difference in the game right now.
Well, that's what Steve Payne told you before the game was going to be a difference maker. Can they win the free throw battle? They have not so far. Under 10 again on the shot clock. Williams works against Phillips. Offensive rebound. Instead, it's touched last by DeLeo, and it'll go over to Tennessee Tech. David DeLeo, sneaky underneath. The leading rebounder for this Chippewa team, nearly came up with another one. 4:27 to go. Central Michigan by 5. Good finish coming up between the Chippewas and the Golden Eagles. Just a reminder, our upcoming broadcasts on ESPN3. The women's team will take on Quinnipiac. Men's basketball will be here against SIUE. And then Chippewas will then take on the Bobcats. The second day of the new year as they open conference play. We'll have all of those on ESPN3. Brad Tunney, Chris Fosters will be on a couple of those with my partner here, Matt DeVries. Great Lakes Loons helping us out. Appreciate those two coming over as the Chippewas continue to try and roll. Both teams, 7 straight wins for the women, and Central Michigan men trying to make it 7 in a row. 4 minutes to try and do so. Ramsey works against DeLeo. Roundtree coming over to double. Frees up a shooter in the corner, and Calhoun can't get the roll. Tapped back in, though, by Mack.
Going over the top of the defense, high pointing the ball off the rim and just going right back up with it. Smart play by Mack, and Tech just down a bucket.
6 straight wins for CMU. They're perfect in Mount Pleasant this season, 4-0. Tennessee Tech trying to turn the tide in that. Pull one out, under 4 to play. Williams against Ramsey, more athletic. Williams gets around him, And he will head to the free throw line. Good mismatch that Cecil Williams uses his athleticism and speed to get around Ramsey.
Ramsey trying to move his feet and not foul. Little action underneath, a reach in, and Cecil Williams going to try and extend that lead.
Williams, the second-year senior, makes it 66-62. 12 points for Cecil Williams. Central Michigan now, again, with 4 scorers in double figures. Roundtree leading the way with 15. DeLeo 13. Williams 12. McKay 10. 3 scorers in double figures for Tennessee Tech. Mack, Ramsey, and Phillips. 1 for 2 for Williams, who's been to the line a lot today. Now 6 for 9. 2-possession game with just over 3 to play. Ramsey works against Meyer. 6'11", 6'6". Look at the quick spin, and he missed the bunny. Missed by Ramsey, and he's got to be kicking himself. A terrific move on Meyer.
I know it stinks, but you got to block it out. You've got 3:10 to go. Need an effort on the defensive end right here. Great play.
Somehow Roundtree got that back to Meyer. He was in trouble. Williams against Ramsey, gets hit again, and he hits it. Are they going to count it? Nope. This isn't the association. Not going to give him that one.
Both teams in the bonus. Be shooting free throws. That one's a little nickel dime. Not a whole lot of contact, just denying some movement from Williams there, cutting across the court.
8th team foul, so a 1-and-1 here for Williams. And he misses the front end.
Lane violation on Cecil Williams, trying to creep into the lane, knowing that one was going to be off. Turnover for Central Michigan. Tennessee Tech gets a break.
Well, some late misses here from Cecil Williams. Now 6 for 10 at the free throw line. Chippewa still shooting just under 80%, 15 for 19. Tennessee Tech just 5 of 12 at the line. Phillips trying to create against Williams, and Williams over the top gets the personal.
These are calls that weren't being made in that first half, calling it much tighter here in the last couple of minutes. Teams are going to have to adjust down the stretch.
Curtis Phillips, the senior, 12 points today. Also has 8 rebounds, knocks down the first free throw. Gets them both, those are big. 14 points for Phillips and a 2-point game in Mount Pleasant.
Golden Eagles have hung around. CMU, just 9 threes in the game. I think they had something like 6 or 7 in the first half, so the outside shooting hasn't transitioned into this second period for Central Michigan, and Tech's been able to hang tough.
It's a long drive from Cookeville, Tennessee, up to Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Golden Eagles trying to go home with a big result on the road. Again, Chippewa's in trouble. Shot clock is down under 5. Williams, nice spin on Calhoun. Floats it in with the finger roll. Tough move by Cecil Williams. Back to a 2-possession game. Phillips trying to attack on Williams. Calhoun jumps in the lane, challenged by Meyer, it's blocked, that's his 3rd. Luke Meyer trying to save it, and he heads out of bounds, so it'll stay with Tennessee Tech. It is such an asset when you're 6'11" underneath. Calhoun looked like he had a free basket until, well, there's Luke Meyer to keep him away from the rim.
A rim protector for this program. Luke Meyer has just done a great job blocking shots throughout his entire career.
And he's now 5th all-time at Central Michigan with 99 career blocks, and he gets a piece of that pass, creates a turnover. Big possession for the senior Luke Meyer. Only 2 points today, but doing it on the defensive end there with under 2 to go.
Tennessee Tech, if you're them, I think you need to stop right now. You can't give up a bucket right now to go down 6.
Back in the hands of the junior transfer, Sean Roundtree. And there is the foul. You absolutely can't commit that far from the basket. Shot clock under 10. You had played 20 seconds of tough defense. And a little bit too close on a hand check there on Roundtree.
I know what you're thinking if you're Curtis Phillips. You got to make sure you're getting the hands away and allowing a little more movement from Sean Roundtree. Like you mentioned, you're so far away from the basket, you can't be committing a foul with the shot clock winding down like that. You just got to allow on some helps or rely on some help side defense to slow him down.
Still a 1-and-1 though for Roundtree. He is the best free throw shooter on this team at 86%. 16 for Sean Roundtree. Extends this to a 5-point game. Leads this team with over 14 points per game. Came in with 36 assists. Also best on this Chippewa team. And he hits the second as well. 17 for Roundtree, 6-point game, which seems like a ton, and how close this one has been this afternoon.
Phillips has 14, Mack has 12. I think those are the two guys that need to get touches here late.
Mack has the size on Roundtree. Instead, it's Jugovic. He knocks down a triple. And there is Aleksa Jugovic, the senior from Serbia. He's into double figures. A huge shot right when Tennessee Tech needed it.
Great play coming off the curl by Jugovic, knocking it down. Give him 12. That's 4 guys in double figures. He's been a big part of this Tennessee Tech program.
Yeah, how have we gone all game without talking about Aleksa Jugovic? Second on this team with 13.8 points per game. Second at Tennessee Tech in free throw shooting. And how about the three-point shooting? That's what he does best. Coming in third at Tennessee Tech in three-point shooting, over 200. I mean, he has been one of their best players, and now in his final season, a guy that has found other ways to score this afternoon. That's just his second triple make, but he's had some nice drives as well.
And we mentioned that big win for Tech over New Mexico in November. He had a career-high 31 points in that game in a 104-96 win. That's the marquee win for Tennessee Tech so far this season, going 7-3 in the non-conference, and they're trying to right the ship. 0-2 on this road trip, losses to Furman and Dayton. The Golden Eagles trying to come in here and steal one against the Chippewas.
You mentioned that 31 at New Mexico State. Even more impressive, he shot 7 threes in that game, made them all.
Wow.
A school record. More importantly right now, a big three that cuts this to a 1-point game. Or excuse me, a 1-possession game, 70-67. Just over a minute to play. Central Michigan trying to hold on. Could we potentially see overtime for the first time in Mount Pleasant this season? Roundtree's been the leader with 17, trying to create again. Phillips swats it away. It'll stay with CMU. And you got to try and come up with a quick shot. 3 seconds on the shot clock, and Roundtree is down on the floor. Looks like he's favoring that right leg.
Drive into the bucket. Kind of goes out of the frame underneath the bucket. Maybe just turns his ankle or a knee coming down. Yep, he turns his ankle right as he goes underneath the bucket into that padded area. See his right ankle just underneath the flying C right there, and hopefully he's gonna be okay. It looks like he's in a lot of pain.
He is really struggling to put pressure, getting help from the athletic trainer over to the bench there, and it'll be interesting to see if he can come back in this game. Crucial spot, 53 seconds left, only up by 3 points, and 3 on the shot clock right now. So Central Michigan on a Keno Davis timeout trying to come up with a potential big shot to extend this to a 2-possession lead. Here's a look at the upcoming events here inside McGurk Arena. All men's and women's basketball. Quinnipiac coming up on the 21st. That's a couple Thursdays from now. Then men's basketball will take on SIUE. Lawrence Tech to finish up the non-conference. Then back-to-back days, the women and the men will take on the Bobcats. to open conference play here in Mount Pleasant.
Really looking forward to the upcoming schedule and really looking forward to conference play here in McGuirk Arena. Always fun when MAC play rolls around, and got a great ending coming up here. A one-possession game under a minute to go.
Does Roundtree come back out? He does. The junior from Edwardsville, Illinois, leading this Chippewa team with 17 points. Remember, 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Just tie the shoe a little tighter.
That's right.
Put the ice on it in about 5 minutes.
Trying to get it to Williams, swatted away. And the shot clock never moved. Still 3 seconds, so the official's going to have to look at this. I believe the clock moved, but I don't think the shot clock clearly didn't move because there was 3 seconds before the ball was inbounded. So there may be, what, 1 second, 2 seconds on that shot clock after the officials look at this upcoming replay.
And it shouldn't reset because Tennessee Tech never had possession of the basketball, so it shouldn't be a fresh 30 for Central Michigan, but it should have at least moved a second. Yes, I would agree, unless it's under a full second of movement on the shot clock and they're going to keep it at 3. So they're going to go to the monitor and take a look.
Steve Payne having a word with one of our officials, Todd Williams, there for a moment as they take a look. What a big win this would be for Steve Payne and this Tennessee Tech team. Down 3, though. He's trying to pick up his 99th career victory at Tennessee Tech. Keno Davis, in the meantime, 84 and 83 as the Chippewa head coach. Eagles 7-3, Chippewas 7-1. And of course, we continue to mention it, but the Chippewas have won 6 in a row. Their last loss and only loss coming to Michigan, who picked up an impressive overtime victory today against UCLA. So you look at that loss against Michigan, and obviously it's a good loss. No loss is great, but a loss to a good team. But CMU has been rolling since. They haven't lost here at home, 4-0. And this has been a very tight game throughout. Again, the officials, if you're just joining us, looking at the shot clock right now. It didn't come off, didn't start when that ball was inbounded. And it looks like they're going to leave it at 3. Interesting. Thought at least maybe a second would be taken off, but instead, DeLeo open for a catch and shoot 3. Good look. Rebound comes down to Ramsey. Chance for Tennessee Tech to tie with a 3. They can pull to within 1 with a 2. Do they go to Jugovic to try and tie? He just hit one from the outside. Here comes the crowd in Mount Pleasant. Looking to Ramsey. He'll square up against Meyer. Banging, the hook shot is good. The senior, Mason Ramsey, makes it a 1-point game.
Getting good position underneath for Ramsey, and Tech doing a great job of getting in good position and getting him a touch in a high percentage look on the floor and a chance to now get a stop. And you're in a 1-point game right now and get a stop. Even if you send them to the free throw line, Central Michigan, still a chance to keep it a 1-possession game. You've got everything in the playbook ready for you coming down the stretch in the last 20, 30 seconds.
Impressive in the second half from Tennessee Tech. They were down by 8 points. Looked like Central Michigan through that middle part of the second half was ready to pull away, and this experienced group from Cookeville, Tennessee keeps their head on keeps going, and Central Michigan, they weren't able to pull away.
The resiliency of this group, I think Coach Steve Payne, even if it ends up a loss for this one, for Tennessee Tech, going to be really proud of his group, and that's something that he's on record as saying ever since he's become the head coach at Tennessee Tech. He wants to be coaching guys that he's okay losing with. And the reason he says that is he just wants to be proud of the effort of his team and proud of the guys that he's coaching day in and day out. And I think you can't ask for much more. This Tech team has hung around all day. The Golden Eagles have given Coach Steve Payne everything they've got today.
So now the question is, who do you foul? The next foul is going to be double bonus time for Central Michigan. You have to foul because the shot clock is turned off. 28 seconds to go. You take a look at Steve Payne there All good shooters on the floor right now for CMU.
I don't know if you need to foul just yet. You can go for a steal in the backcourt until it gets across the midpoint.
They'll go for that steal first. 10-second call too, and they just get it over to Kaczynski. Kevin McKay into Cecil Williams. He's bumped and he scores. You absolutely couldn't have that. And a three-point play potentially upcoming to extend this to a two-possession game if Williams can hit the free throw.
Good effort in the backcourt with the full court pressure. What a pass from Kevin McKay. A pump fake from Cecil Williams. And unfortunately, it was Courtney Alexander underneath. Just got a little too aggressive, trying to run the floor, get back in transition on defense. Great awareness in the offensive end by Cecil Williams.
16 for Williams. The important free throw makes it a two-possession game. Got to go quick here. Mack at the top, 10 seconds. Catch and shoot, good look. Right on line, but it was short. 5 seconds, Mack will heave. That's off, and that'll do it. A foul on DeLeo as he'll head to the line. Under 2 seconds to play, and the Chippewas are going to escape here with their 7th straight win.
Tech had a couple looks at the other end, trying to extend this game, knock him down. Jugovic hit a big shot under a minute to go to make it a one-possession game. Let's go back to that press break from the Chippewas. The feed from Kevin McKay, finding Williams underneath, and then the awareness to have the pump fake, get an extra attempt at a free throw, and big win for the Chippewas.
4 scores in double figures again, and this one comes to a close. Central Michigan 74, Tennessee Tech 69. 7 straight wins for the Chippewas. They improve to 8-1, and the Golden Eagles fall to 7-4. 3rd straight loss for Tennessee Tech, but a valiant effort by this Steve Payne team. Came very close, down by 8. And they fought back, had it to within 1, but in the end, a 5th straight win for Central Michigan at home to begin the season, and more impressively, 7 straight since that early loss to Michigan. The Chippewas have not lost since November 13th. Matt DeVries getting set to catch up with the winning head coach, Keno Davis. I'll send it over to Matt.
Coach, Tech never went away. They kept coming back, but you guys made plays down the stretch. What does this say about the resiliency of your group today?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have that kind of record without being a really good ball club. And, hey, sometimes we're not going to be winning pretty this year, but I liked our guys' confidence late down the stretch. They acted like a veteran group. We're going to have to continue to do that and keep getting better.
You challenged your group with a trip to Ann Arbor this year. It's your only loss this season to Michigan. You guys have taken care of business thus far. What's pleased you the most about your team thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I think going to Ann Arbor early was good for us because we knew it might be a long night for us. We actually played pretty well in that game, but it exposed what we needed to get better at. And I think you're seeing us improve from game to game every time we step on the court. So if we could keep that attitude and work ethic, you know, it's a fun team to watch and it's a fun team to coach.
Congrats on the win, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Adam?
Central Michigan with a big win. A happy Keno Davis. The Chippewas have won 7 in a row. Chippewas 8-1 on the year. The Golden Eagles fall to 7-4. Impressive work by our crew once again here in Mount Pleasant. Appreciate you stopping in on this Saturday afternoon. Final score, CMU 74, TTU 69. For my partner Matt DeVries, Adam Jackson saying good night from Mount Pleasant.